Greetings, ghouls, and welcome back to another talk about horror television. Tonight we're exploring probably my favorite episode of an often overlooked horror anthology series called The Hitchhiker, which first aired on HBO in November of 1983. The episode we're covering tonight is called Ghostwriter from Season 3, Episode 6. This show is the best, and I'm excited to cover more of it in the future, so be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. This episode begins with a strong intro and amazing music. The composer is named Michel Rubini, and his work in the show is to die for if you love some 80s synth. I'll leave a link for the show's main theme song down in the description. I wanted to include a bit of the song in this video, but I got a copyright claim by a crook representing some song that was published in 2015. We start the episode with a bright yellow car being yanked out of the sea. We learn that it's author Jeffrey Hunt's car. His wife Debbie and his literary agent and longest friend Tony are at the dock looking to find out more information about the disappearance. Detective Underhill also comes to the scene. He has a few questions for them. He asks Debbie how their marriage was. She mentions that her husband had been living off of her money for quite some time. Jeffrey struggled to support himself as a writer. No one has ever heard of him. They get back to Debbie's gorgeous oceanfront home and they hardly make it inside before sucking face. Debbie and Tony have been seeing each other for quite some time. They're madly in love. Just as things heat up piping hot, there's a ring at the doorbell. It's Vivian. She warmly welcomes the widow. She tells Tony that she just had a call with someone from Harper Books looking for Jeffrey's reprint details. Nothing sells like tragedy. So Vivian demands that Tony come with her to the library for a speaking engagement. Debbie goes inside and it isn't long before she hears a creak in the other room, so she goes upstairs to check it out. When she gets there, she gets an ominous fax that says "can't live with myself, drowning in guilt." Pretty creepy. She hears another shuffle. Someone is up there with her. A man. She's stunned. It's her husband Jeffrey. He is alive and lands a big fat smooch on her. He explains himself. He wants immortality. He made a career move and now he's set. He's on to her and Tony. He asks what they were up to downstairs. He asks her if she will miss it. They're going to Samoa. He's already made the arrangements. He goes to kiss her again and then slams her down. The phone rings. It's Tony. He tells her some amazing news. She's going to be a rich woman. New paperback releases, a movie deal, the whole works. Of course, her husband is very pleased with this news. So we head over to the speaking engagement. The librarian reads a passage out of Jeffrey's first novel. She deeply admires his work and applauds the late author. Tony can't get out of there any sooner. He spots Debbie outside. She's very upset and makes a bit of a scene in front of all of the attendees. Debbie's very scared. She's devastated that she's not going to be able to see Tony anymore. She fears for her life. A dead man can do anything, you know. Tony has a solution to this. He can't harm anyone if he's really dead. She doesn't love the idea of killing her husband, though. Well, later that night, Debbie seduces her husband while he's in the tub. They kiss passionately. Just long enough for Tony to drown his longest friend. He yells at Debbie to go. She quickly dresses and goes outside to grab a tarp. They both grab the body and bring it outside to the pickup truck and throw him in the bed. They get in the truck and of course the detective shows up and starts questioning her. The detective spots something fishy in the bed of the truck. He takes a closer look and Tony is there to wrap up the exposed arm just in the nick of time. Tony tells her to head out. He will wrap things up with the detective, so she books it like a bat out of hell. She pulls the truck up to the coast. She's going to throw him in now and finish it all once and for all. She checks the water, then goes back to the truck to get him. But he isn't there. He surprises her from behind and throws her off to her death. Jeff gets back to his home and pours himself a drink. Tony was in on it all along. He's arranged tickets and a passport for Jeff. He leaves first ferry tomorrow. Jeff is surprised with how good the murder felt. He has no regrets. Tony, however, is feeling really bad about himself. He actually had feelings for Debbie. He doesn't want to hear about the murder at all. They toast to the rich. Jeff runs upstairs. Tony isn't feeling so good. He's in quite a bit of trouble, actually. You see, his friend poisoned his drink. The detective is at the door. He's always 5 minutes too late, the poor guy. The fax machine tippity taps as Tony drops to the ground, his last breath just a moment before the detective gets to him. Brilliant. The next day at the ferry, Jeff is laying low with the newspaper blocking his face. He's spotted by a lady who yells his name, begging for him to sign her book. The detective hears this, and Jeff notices the detective too. What Jeff does next is pretty wild. He hops in a stranger's car and floors it into the sea before anyone can catch him. This is probably my favorite episode of this series. I really adored it. My favorite acting performance has to be M. Emmett Walsh, the detective. He also starred in one of my favorite episodes of Tales from the Crypt, which I've also covered here on the channel. I'll link it up in the cards. He's just such a good character actor, and he's funny in an indirect way. I love him so much. This show has so many boobs in it that I can see it really being a challenge to cover for a YouTube audience, but that's just HBO for you. Bless them. I really do love this series though, and I'll be sure to cover more of it in the future. I'm rating this one a perfect 10 out of 10 for The Hitchhiker. This show is the best, so if you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend a watch if you like some of the other horror anthology series I cover on this channel. The show has the best narrator since Rod Serling, in my opinion, as far as horror television goes. Paige Fletcher is the man. If you're familiar with this series, let me know in the comments which episode is your favorite. I'd love to cover it. I'd like to thank my patrons for making this video possible. Please consider donating just a few dollars a month to significantly help out this channel. It helps me a bunch if you like, comment, and subscribe too. All is greatly appreciated, and I wish you a good day. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay spooky.